Hi, I'm Jock Lebec, and this is a video tour of my container garden. It's about 4 years old. My grandson and I built the containers. Actually, it was mostly him. He worked real hard for about a month building them. So I'll start out with my small wood pile. It grows and it gets depleted as we use wood. We heat our whole house with pellets and our wood burning stove. Next to it is one of my leaf towers. That's in reserve for weed control in my beds, and also I use it in my worm farm. I have a bigger composting bin out back that I use. I use this one first because it's close to the garden and I don't have to carry the leaves too far. Next is my cherry tree. The bluebirds used to love it. I don't know what happened. I guess that the king of the bluebirds that used to eat them all must have passed away, because I've been able to get cherries for the last couple years. So I hope for a good crop this year. Next is my first container. This is my artichoke container. It's dedicated, it's year-round, and that artichoke is doing real well. There's another one right to the left of it, a real small one. They send off little stringers and things like that. Next to it is my dedicated herb box, and it some of them die back and then they come back in the spring. The one on this end is oregano, right? We have various other herbs in there. And in between the last box and the herb box is my asparagus box. It is also dedicated to asparagus, which the possums love. That's the only beef I have against the possums. They eat all my roots for my asparagus and I don't get any. So I got to figure out a solution for that. Next is my little miniature apple tree. That thing puts out a lot of apples, and the squirrels and the raccoons are real happy that it does. We get very few. We'll walk out here, they'll be just about ripe, and I'll walk out here and every apple will be gone, and it'll happen overnight. Across the road is a homestead. He's got lots of livestock and things like that. But mostly the whole island is rural like that. And then I have my two scarecrows. The only thing that those two scare is me after dark. I've seen crows land on them. So the one on the far end is going to be dedicated to cucumbers and probably some peppers on the left side. The one in the middle is going to be tomatoes, heirloom Russians, and the one on this side will be bell peppers, and I'm hesitating to put jalapenos there because they will cross with and make some hot bell peppers. To the left of it is a really weird peach tree. It puts out a lot of peaches, but the leaves stay purple until about the end of July, the first week of August. I don't know why it does that. And directly behind it is my seed box, my garden box, and in it I've already planted some seeds to germinate, and as soon as they do, I'm going to put my tomatoes and things like that in there. Right now I have jalapenos, acorn squash, and cucumbers. They should be coming out here pretty quick. Even though it's February 7th, it's 75 degrees today. We're 50 miles east of San Francisco. And some people have a hard time believing it could be this rural, that close to such a big city, but it definitely is. We're in the middle of nowhere. Next to my table on the left side is a small box. I generally grow zucchini in there. I'm debating whether I'm going to put zucchini in there this year or if I will plant my zucchini in the ground. It takes a lot of space. And in front of it is another box. I'm going to plant my romos in there. My wife makes a lot of spaghetti sauce, a lot of tomato sauce, and then we store it in the freezer for the winter. To the left of it, the little box is dedicated to onions. And there's some in there now. I just picked the last one. There's a couple in there that they probably won't be ready until, I don't know, April. And to the left of that box, that little tiny tree I planted a year ago from a seed. That's a peach tree that I got the seed from a peach tree that they got the best peaches, so I went ahead and planted one, and it's working. And next to it is a wire cage that I made to grow potatoes in. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I'm going to use that bale of straw and see if I can't do it. That'll be the first time I grew potatoes in a tower. I will have a big learning curve. And I have another leaf tower back there in the background, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to plant watermelons in the bottom of it. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of weeds and things that come out on the leaves, and I don't know why a watermelon wouldn't grow on the bottom. So I'm going to plant like 5 seeds. So that is the tour of my garden. I left out the rose bushes and a few other things, but I didn't want this to be too long, seeing as how it's on a blog. Alrighty, it's February 7th, 2018, and it is 75 degrees in Northern California, which can only mean one thing. The weather's going to change, and it's going to get worse, because you can't get better than this.